guys, it's Atorix here with my next strategy for farming here in 3.24. I really appreciate all of the love and support that you guys have given me in the last couple videos, and even the feedback to help me grow and provide you guys with some more enjoyable content. Feel free to comment questions, I'll answer all of them, and if you want me to continue making you some content, feel free to give me a like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and it does help. So this strategy by far is one of the best that I have ever made and ran, and it was surprisingly profitable, and I cannot wait to show you guys the loot tab later in this video and breakdown of just how much money you will make. First step, as always, let's get right into the Atlas. Alright, so here is the Atlas. There will be a link to this in the description below, and what this Atlas is directly focusing on is Breach. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to path up the backside here directly into the breach nodes. You're going to want to get every single breach node, but we'll go over them for you. Probing for weakness. This is just going to have more breaches in your map. Breach will have multiple. You won't just get stuck with one breach stone. You'll have multiple in your map, and this just gives you a chance to get even more. Evolving hives allows you to get 3 additional rare mobs and spawn 30% increased magic monsters. So this is just mob density and loot. I mean, they drop loot all the time. We obviously path over and get the scarabs, which is super important. We take the cryptic gateway over here so that we can grab this specific node, the scarabs, and then also so that we can path down here into the necropolis mechanics. So these two here, increased effect of haunted modifiers in your map, will make your map a little bit more difficult, but it's not insane by any means, and definitely worth it because your lanterns are 1 tier higher, and there's 30% effect of devoted modifiers on my map, so there are more rewards as well. So this is definitely worth it if you can handle it. If you can't, not a big deal, but definitely recommend it. Try it out to see if you can. Alright, so then we're going to get the Chayula Tortured Dreams, which is going to give your maps a 45% increased chance to belong to Chayula, which is where a good portion of your money comes from. Not all of it by any means, but a good portion of it comes from the breach stones. And also you have Chayula Who Dreamt in my maps has a 50% chance to be duplicated, which they drop additional Chayula breach splinters. So definitely a good node. Don't forget that one. Gatekeepers has 20% increased chance to contain a boss. We're not too worried about that because we force the boss in. Breach bosses in your map have a 20% chance to drop double breach stone splinters. It happens a lot. That's a very good node. Definitely worth it. Up here we have called to Zechula, and what Zechula is, there's 2 different kinds. There's an Echula and the open hand, and the hand of Echula. And the difference is the hand of Echula can drop splinters of every breach stone, or I'm sorry, every breach splinter type, and the Echula, the open hand, can drop breach stones of every breach type. So significantly more rare, but also provides you with full breach stones when you get it. Super, super nice. We do get singular focus. It has been sustaining our maps because of all the mobs in it, which has been awesome to finally hit. So we definitely take singular focus on this. And, you choose whatever map you would like. I personally have been running Cemetery because I'm trying to get some Brothers cards, which is nice. Up here, we're going to get within their grasp, which defeating a breach boss in your map has a 4% chance to drop a breach stone, which is very nice. It happens more often than you would think at a 4% chance because we're getting at least one boss in every single breach itself. So that's really nice. And 5% chance to be flawless. That is rare, and when it happens, it's money. So, that's nice as well. Eve of Invasion, just more breaches. Chances at more and more breaches. 1% chance to contain 10 additional breaches. 2% chance to contain 3 additional. 3% chance to gain 2, and 4% to get 1. Really worth it. Eventually you're going to hit it, and the money is just going to be absolutely incredible. Definitely want to take altars, additional altars. The quant is phenomenal. You're not going to want to miss out on that, so it's definitely worth those points since you're right here anyways. Breach, Power Struggle. Do not forget this. This is a super important one. This has a 4% chance to spawn Breach bosses when your hands are opened. And we're going to be juicing our hands as well and getting a lot of them, and I'll show you that in a few. Breaches in your map have a 100% increased chance to contain a Breach boss clapped hands. So, compounds. I mean, I've had breaches where there's 5 or 6 bosses in the actual breach, and they all compound with the chance of doubling the Chayula splinters, as well as just doubling the splinters anyways from the gatekeepers. Down here we do get Flash Breach, which makes the breaches in your map open and close faster. My build does it well because I have some pop to it, so I definitely would do this. If the breach seems too strong, too difficult, and you're not killing enough of the mobs, you can absolutely go to heavy breach. It's going to slow down your mapping a little bit, but it shouldn't mess with too much else other than that. All the breach nodes, we want to get as many breaches on in as we can. And then as per the other strats as well, we're running Scarabs because it's just so much money. It's about half the profit of the strat is the Scarabs, and you never really have to get any really good ones. So definitely grabbing the Scarabs. I did sacrifice the Essence one over here just because I saved the most points of it, because I really wanted to get these down here. There is a min-max where you might be able to get, I think, all these back if you have every single skill point, and I'm still missing 6, so I just sacrifice these, but you can still get these. Highly recommended. Okay, up here as well, we're getting the League mechanic, which is increasing the chance for your haunted packs to be rare, which scales with all of your mechanics that we're doing. We're getting a lot of mobs, getting a lot of quant, rarity. Everything that's from your lantern is going to be increased here if they're rare. Very worth it. And then these drop additional all flames, which are also still worth it. Obviously, we're getting the less common Scarabs, super important, and we are taking off the bossing one. It's not that important to us, to be honest. The 25% chance to drop an additional Scarab. Yeah, it still drops Scarabs all the time. I'm not too worried about that one node. And then otherworldly artifacts, where breaches have a 20% increased monster density and a 50% increased chance to drop a breach unique item. So there are ways to get a lot of good things inside of breach, obviously, with this atlas. And the way that I have done this is I got 20 maps together, and I did 20 maps so we can see what 20 maps looks like with this strategy. I have the loot breakdown for you. We're going to go over that now. I can tell you I did not get lucky in any aspect of this, so this is actually a pretty good scale of what to expect if you're unlucky. Obviously, if you're lucky, this could be significantly better. But without further ado, let's hop on over to the loot tab and talk a little bit about what to expect. Alright, real quick, let's go over the Scarabs that we use for this as well. These are very important that go with the Atlas. Before we get to the loot, we're going to look at these. So this is the Breach Scarabs. This gives us 2 additional breaches. We're definitely going to make sure that we use 2 of those. So we have 4 additional breaches right here. We have the Breach Scarab of Lordship, which is where every breach contains at least 1 Breach Lord, and you're going to definitely want to make sure you kill that, which is fantastic. And then the Breach Scarab of Snares. This is the most expensive of the bunch. This is about 10C each. So in total, these maps cost about 2.2 divines for 20 of them, which is what I ran to get the loot, which is about 16.5 chaos per map. And what this does is it adds an additional 5 to 10 collapsed hands, and they are able to be guarded, or they all are guarded by rare breach monsters. So this is where the money comes from for you. This is where you get those hands that you can open up and get more bosses, and it scales really well. So this is what I used for this setup. There is definitely more scalability in it. I could use the other Scarab that guarantees me Chayulus the entire time. I could also roll 8 modded maps, and make a lot more as well than what I did. And if you guys would like to see that, let me know. I can definitely do that. It's a little bit more investment for me, but honestly, after doing this, I really believe that it would be beneficial and worth it. So I might end up doing it anyways. Without further ado, though, let's get over to the loot tab, and so you guys can take a look at that. All right, so here is the moment we've all been waiting for, the loot tab. This is all of the goodies that I got from 20 maps. I have everything in here except for 2 breach scarabs that I used to replenish so I could finish the 20th maps, and maps. I was sustaining my own maps. So I only came up with 6 on top of all of the maps that I spent, but I am sustaining permanently my maps, which is fantastic. It's pretty much split up into 2 giant groups, as you can see. The 2 giant groups are my breachstones and my scarabs. So my breachstones are worth about 7 divines here. I have 6 Chayula, Ools, and Eshes, and then I have 8 tools and 10 Zovs. So these are at 7 divines for all of them right now. I'm not going to be selling these for 7 divines, though. What I'm actually going to be doing is, as this video is coming out, I'm going to be farming all of these to see if it's worth running your breachstones or selling your breachstones. So there will be a follow-up video on this so we can see how much profit you can make off of the breachstones to see if you do this strat, if it's worth running them or selling them. So that's pretty cool. And then obviously all your scarabs that added up to another, I think it was 5 divine. And I think I only have 1 or 2 scarabs that was worth about 30 C. The rest of them are, 17, 10, 8, 6, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But overall, it's about 5 divines for all of these scarabs, which is awesome. I did get 2 The Chosen's Skin of the Lords card, which are about 100 C each, and these specifically come from the Snare Scarab, where you get 5 to 10 additional hands. Just make sure you run over your hands. That's how you get these cards, which is awesome. I got 1 T17, 22 Raw Chaos, which is a little lower than what I thought and what I was expecting, but I wasn't running 8 modded maps or anything like that. And this whole entire tab, including everything, actually breaks down to be about 15.2 divines. And that being said, we spent 2.2 divines on the maps that we used, all 20 of them. So we profited about 13 divines, and we did this in about 3.5 hours. However, during that, I was experimenting with a few things, such as the Atlas, to make sure that I wanted to maximize the potential that I wanted out of it. So we were reading a little bit of June during that. We were also streaming and a little bit distracted, and we were still able to make about 4 divines an hour with all of that. So definitely can cut off about a half hour to 45 minutes of that time and makes the profit significantly better. But I didn't want to do a disservice, because this is what I made. I made 4.5 divines an hour with a 16.5 C investment per map. I did roll my own maps, but like I said, I'm probably going to do an upgraded version of the strat because of how profitable it really was, and do the Chayula Scarab as well, which I think is going for about 35 to 40 C right now, and it will turn all of these 10, 8, 6, and 6 into all Chayulas, because it would be the only mob that comes out of the breachstones. So we're definitely going to check that out. I really appreciate you guys again if you're still here at the end of this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to make you guys more content. I'm trying really hard. If you have any other feedback, feel free to give it to me. I'm here to please. This is a lot of fun for me. So again, thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see you guys later.